Our top story, a massive controversy breaks out right at the start of the NDC meet today. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha walked out of the meeting saying she was given only 10 minutes to speak and she was not allowed to complete her speech. She claims this amounts to humiliation of non-Congress chief ministers. The government has said Jayalalitha's move to walk out of the NDC meet is unfortunate.
At this meeting of the National Development Council, the voice of the Chief Ministers has been stifled. The Chief Ministers were not allowed to speak freely. At the very beginning, we were told that only 10 minutes would be allotted to each Chief Minister, and that after the 10 minutes were up, a bell would ring. This is unheard of. This has never been the practice before. I have attended many such conferences in the past. I have attended meetings of the National Development Council and conferences of Chief Ministers convened by the Prime Minister on many occasions. Such a practice has never been adopted before. I had barely begun my speech when I was told that the 10 minutes were up, and they rang a bell. This is utter humiliation of a Chief Minister who has come all the way to Delhi to present the views of the state government in the interest of the welfare of the people of the state of Tamil Nadu and in the national interest. There have been many occasions before when other Chief Ministers who support the central government have been allowed to speak for 30 minutes, 35 minutes and even more sometimes. At the last conference that I attended, the Assam Chief Minister was allowed to speak for more than 35 minutes. It is impossible to convey the views of a state government in such a short period as 10 minutes. Today we were all asked to come to discuss the 12th plan document. The plan document itself is so lengthy and encompasses so many subjects that it is practically impossible to convey everything that a Chief Minister wants to say within a short time frame of 10 minutes. If they are not prepared to give more than 10 minutes to each Chief Minister, and if they are going to humiliate a Chief Minister by ringing a bell and cutting short the speech, why did they invite us all the way to Delhi? Why have they made us come all the way to Delhi to take part in this meeting? It is meaningless and it amounts to utter humiliation of a constitutional authority, a Chief Minister who has been elected to work for the progress and upliftment of the people of the state. Therefore, to register my strong protest against this shabby treatment meted out to a constitutional authority, the elected head of a state, I walked out of the National Development Council meeting today to register my protest. Once again, I wish to reiterate that this is not fair, this is not democracy. They are stifling the voices of Chief Ministers who do not support the central government. Once again, I register my strong protest. If this is the way they are going to treat Chief Ministers, the centre can stop calling such conferences and stop inviting the Chief Ministers, and we have got enough work back home. We have come all the way to Delhi to present our views in the hope that our views will be heard and we will be able to get some benefits for the welfare of our state. But it has turned out to be an exercise in humiliation. I strongly register my protest once again.
Jayalalitha, the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister, has walked out of the National Development Council meet, stating that the centre is not giving enough time, and somewhere or the other, the voice is being stifled of all the Chief Ministers. Do you think the centre?
I don't know the details, but as far as when one Chief Minister speaks, it is the responsibility of the central leadership to see to it that their voice is echoed there and their voice is given due weightage. And For this reason, any chief minister is stopped in between. That is not good for democracy. They are representing states, they are representing people, and their sentiments has to be expressed in NDC meeting. So if this has happened, it is very unfortunate, and the central leadership should take into consideration it's a federal structure where the states have to be given their due.
দিল্লিতে যে বেসিক্যালি যে ব্যাপারটা হচ্ছে এটা অনেকটা সেই মিশর বা অন্য জায়গায় যেখানে পিঙ্ক রেভলিউশন বলে একটা ব্যাপার আছে, যাদের সঙ্গে গ্রাউন্ড রিয়েলিটির খুব কম যোগাযোগ আছে। ইন্ডিয়াতে মোমবাতি নিয়ে রাস্তায় হাঁটা, ডিসকোথিতে যাওয়া, স্টুডেন্ট লাইফ আমরাও লিড করেছি, স্টুডেন্ট আমরাও ছিলাম। স্টুডেন্টের কি ক্যারেক্টার হওয়া উচিত আমার খুব ভালোই জানা আছে। যারা স্টুডেন্টের নামে আসছে, যারা আমি দেখতে পাচ্ছি অনেক সুন্দরী সুন্দরী মহিলা, হাইলি ডেন্টেড অ্যান্ড পেন্টেড, তারা টিভিতে ইন্টারভিউ দিচ্ছেন অ্যাজ ইফ তার বাচ্চাকে রাখাতে নিয়ে এসছেন, ওক নিয়ে এসছেন, তারা আদৌ স্টুডেন্ট কিনা আমার খুব সন্দেহ আছে, কারণ ওই বয়সের মহিলারা স্টুডেন্ট থাকেন না জেনারেলি।
All right, President's son Abhijit Mukherjee, they're sparking a controversy with the sexist comments that he's made. He has said it's become fashionable in India to have a candle in the hand in the day and go to the discotheque at night. He's also saying that it's fashionable to hold a candle and protest outside. The President's son saying it's fashionable for students to hold candle marches. He's also here sparking off a massive controversy with a highly sexist comment. It's coming from the President's son Abhijit Mukherjee, who has spoken out, and he has said it's become fashionable to go to discotheques and to hold a candle and protest outside. These comments are being made after the protest marches that have been held in the capital over the last few weeks, after the outrage that's been caused after the 23-year-old innocent girl was gang raped. Now the President's son sparking a row. Let's once again listen into that reaction.
বেসিক্যালি যে ব্যাপারটা হচ্ছে এটা অনেকটা সেই মিশর বা অন্য জায়গায় যেখানে পিঙ্ক রেভলিউশন বলে একটা ব্যাপার আছে, যাদের সঙ্গে গ্রাউন্ড রিয়েলিটির খুব কম যোগাযোগ আছে। ইন্ডিয়াতে মোমবাতি নিয়ে রাস্তায় হাঁটা, ডিসকোথিতে যাওয়া, স্টুডেন্ট লাইফ আমরাও লিড করেছি, স্টুডেন্ট আমরাও ছিলাম। স্টুডেন্টের কি ক্যারেক্টার হওয়া উচিত আমার খুব ভালোই জানা আছে। যারা স্টুডেন্টের নামে আসছে, যারা আমি দেখতে পাচ্ছি অনেক সুন্দরী সুন্দরী মহিলা, হাইলি ডেন্টেড অ্যান্ড পেন্টেড, তারা টিভিতে ইন্টারভিউ দিচ্ছেন অ্যাজ ইফ তার বাচ্চাকে রাখাতে নিয়ে এসছেন, ওক নিয়ে এসছেন, তারা আদৌ স্টুডেন্ট কিনা আমার খুব সন্দেহ আছে, কারণ ওই বয়সের মহিলারা স্টুডেন্ট থাকেন না জেনারেলি।
All right, once again, that's the reaction that's coming in from the President's son Abhijit Mukherjee, who's sparking off a massive controversy with a highly sexist comment. He says that it's become fashionable in India to hold a candle and protest outside. He's also saying that the events in Delhi are like pink revolution. They have no reality to what's happening. He says it's fashionable to go to candle marches and to protest outside. These comments completely caustic and unacceptable coming after the outrage that's been seen in the capital. There have been protest marches at India Gate. After the gang rape of a 23-year-old rape victim, there has been outrage that has been expressed through candle marches and protests that have been seen all across the capital. Now the President's son Abhijit Mukherjee is sparking of this massive controversy with a highly sexist comment. He says that it's fashionable to hold a candle and to protest outside. Questions already being raised as to what this means. Let's go across to Kiran Bedi, who's joining us on the phone line. Mrs. Bedi, the first question here, he's sparking off a massive controversy with this highly sexist comment.
Well, since I've not personally seen it, I'm only hearing what you're saying. If it is what he said, then it's truly regrettable. I think they're so far away from reality. As representative of the people, then obviously this is an insensitive statement, and they are truly far from reality, and that is why the suffering is increasing. The gap between those people who are deciding for us, governing us, and those who are at the other end of the service are continuing to suffer. Unfortunately, this is regrettable if I'm hearing what you're saying is right.
Mrs. Bedi, also, what do you think he was trying to say when he said that these protesters were not even students?
It's horrible. It's an amazing youth power which has emerged today. This is an amazing youth power, a whole new generation of young leadership which has emerged today for a change, and we are all very proud of it. very proud of this youth power which has increased. They're expressing their sense of responsibility, which we all wanted to see one day, and I think it is being seen today. It's a emergence of whole youth power in this country. And India, by the way, is on the verge, on the cusp of becoming world's largest youth power. India will have the largest youth inhabitants in the coming few years. And these movements are clearly showing the emergence of an amazingly new, responsible youth power. All they have to do is stay within the precincts of law, continue to have non-violent agitations, and never indulge in violence or allow violent perpetrators to join the movement.
All right, Mrs. Bedi, continue to stay with us. Let's also go across to women social activist Ranjana Kumari, who's joining us on the phone line. Mrs. Kumari, do these comments not take on a new meaning, keeping in mind they come from the president's son?
Well, I'm really sorry about the way he is thinking and talking, so irresponsible, coming from a family of such a senior seasoned politician, a respected person, President of India's son. I think this is absolutely, speaks volumes about the mindset, the way they look at women, the way they describe women, the way the whole society. Are they not looking that the girls and the boys are between 15 and 25? Like, to talk like that is really demeaning the protest, and also very extremely irresponsible. I totally condemn what he has said, and he must apologize. This is not acceptable at all, even if it is coming from son of President of India. What kind of what kind of a comment is this? It really almost looks like a street urchin's lewd remark.
All right, let's also go across to Subhasini Ali, who's joining us on the phone line. Social activist is joining us. Ms. Ali, this is coming at a time when he's trying to say that the women who are going to the protests are not real students. What do you think he was trying to say when he made that comment?
See, what he was trying to say is really not what I'm interested in. What he said is just so atrocious, because it just once again displays the way in which people who are in positions of responsibility, positions of power, what their mindset is, what they think. What is this word dented and painted? I mean, forget about what he's talking about. Just using these two words in the context of women is so insulting, and it is just so atrocious. And then to say that these were not students but dented and painted women, I mean, I just can't imagine anything that is just more insulting and also more revealing of a very narrow-minded and very stupid person. A person like this just doesn't deserve to get elected and to become a member of parliament and to represent a state like the state of West Bengal. I mean, it's just so shocking and so disheartening that this goes on day in and day out. People just don't seem to be learning any lessons from everything that has been said in the last 15 days in India and all over the world.
All right, Mrs. Ali, continue to stay with us. Let's also go across to BJP leader Smriti Irani, who's joining us on the phone line. Mrs. Irani, should Abhijit Mukherjee be apologizing for his sexist comments?
Quite unfortunate, the fact that Mr. Mukherjee, being the president's son, at such a challenging time where not only women but even men came down on the streets of Delhi to demand justice and a safer environment for women, make such an observation about protesting women there. I think that this is the exact kind of mindset that the youth was fighting against on the streets of Delhi. It is unfortunate that Mr. Mukherjee has that kind of a presumptuous prejudice towards the protesters. It is extremely shameful that the Home Minister of the nation equates them to Maoists. I feel that somewhere we need to realize that the angst and the anger that is in the form of protests on the streets of Delhi is not something that can be contained only to Delhi. It is an outrage felt by every Indian who wants a better India for women.
All right, Mrs. Irani, also the question being raised, do you think he owes an apology to all the women, all the students who were present there at the protest marches?
Why not? Why only women? I think every protester on the streets of Delhi, irrespective of gender, of women who are violated in India, I think he owes an apology to all those protesters, irrespective of their age, irrespective of their gender, because those protesters streets of Delhi. For even average women like you and me, they spoke up for women across the nation, especially in Delhi. So I think he owes an apology to all those who came out and protest.
In fact, Mrs. Rani, he said women who are dented and painted are not students. Thank you for joining us. Let's also go across to BJP leader Meenakshi Lekhi, who's joining us. Meenakshi, we saw you at the protest. Do you also not think that he owes an apology to all the women who were present there?
I think he owes an apology to the nation, because to undermine the strength of